All right, so you're planning a trip to the USA.
Big trip.
Big trip, right. And you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed with all the things you have to think about,
Definitely.
like visas and flights and all of that. And then you start hearing about visitors insurance and you're thinking, wait a minute, what is that? Do I even need that?
It can feel like a whole other world.
Right, exactly. So in this deep dive, we're going to break down visitors insurance plans.
We're going to try and help you feel informed and prepared without getting too lost in the weeds here.
Exactly, because nobody wants to spend their vacation reading insurance fine print,
Nobody.
right? So first off, what are these plans even for?
So visitors insurance is specifically designed for anyone traveling to the USA from another country.
Okay, so not for U.S. residents.
No, not for folks who already have health insurance here in the States.
Yeah.
This is really for international travelers.
Gotcha. So what does it actually cover then?
Well, the big one is medical expenses.
Okay, so if I get sick or injured,
Exactly. It can help cover things like doctor's visits, hospital stays, even surgery if you need it.
so like if I break my leg skiing or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you, come down with a nasty flu while you're here.
Ugh, I don't even want to think about that.
Right. It's not exactly fun to consider,
Yeah,
but it's important to be prepared.
definitely. So beyond just like regular medical stuff, are there other things that visitors insurance covers?
There are some plans also include coverage for emergency medical evacuation.
Oh, wow. Okay, so like if you're in a really remote area or something and need to be airlifted to a hospital?
Exactly. Or if your condition requires specialized care, that's not available where you are.
That sounds pretty intense.
It can be.
Yeah,
And it can be incredibly expensive if you don't have coverage.
I bet. And what about, I've heard some plans even cover repatriation of remains. That sounds a little bit morbid.
It's not the most pleasant topic to think about,
I know.
but it is an important consideration, especially for international travel.
Right, because if something were to happen, you'd want to make sure your family wouldn't have to face those additional burdens.
Absolutely. And those costs can be really significant.
Okay, so that's all pretty serious stuff. But are there any like more everyday travel inconveniences that visitors insurance might help with?
Yeah, actually, some plans do offer coverage for things like trip cancellation or interruption if something unexpected comes up and you have to change your plans.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, what if my flight gets canceled or there's a natural disaster or something?
Exactly, or even something like a family emergency back home that forces you to cut your trip short.
Right, and I'm guessing those situations can get pretty expensive too.
Absolutely. Rebooking flights, last-minute accommodation changes, all of that can add up quickly.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot of different things that visitors insurance can cover, but I imagine not all plans are created equal.
You're exactly right. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation.
So how do you even start to compare all the different options out there?
Well, there are a few key things to keep in mind. First, you want to look at the coverage amounts.
So like the maximum the plan will actually pay out.
Precisely. You want to make sure it's enough to cover potential costs, especially for things like hospitalization or emergency evacuation.
That makes sense. What else should I be looking at?
Another important factor is the deductible.
Oh, right, the amount you have to pay out of pocket before the insurance kicks in.
Exactly. So if a plan has a high deductible, you'll be responsible for more of the initial costs.
Okay, and then there's also co-insurance, right?
Yes, that's the percentage of the costs you might still have to pay even after you've met your deductible.
So even with insurance, I might still have some out-of-pocket expenses.
That's possible depending on the plan. So you want to make sure you understand those details and choose a plan that works for your budget.
Okay, and what about networks of providers? Is that something I need to worry about with visitors insurance?
It's a good question. While many visitors insurance plans offer broad access to a wide network of doctors and hospitals, it's still worth checking if there are any limitations or restrictions in the areas you'll be traveling to.
Okay, so like some plans might only cover certain hospitals or doctors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always best to double check to avoid any surprises.
Makes sense. And what about exclusions? Are there certain things that visitors insurance just won't cover?
Yeah, there can be. And this is where reading the fine print is really important.
Oh, nobody likes fine print.
I know, but it can save you a lot of trouble down the line. You want to make sure you understand what's not covered, like pre-existing conditions or certain types of activities.
Okay, so if I have a health condition that I already know about, I need to make sure the plan will cover that.
Absolutely. The clauses around pre-existing conditions can vary quite a bit from plan to plan, so it's really important to review those carefully.
Okay, good to know. And then, of course, there's the cost of the plan itself.
Right. You want to find a balance between getting sufficient coverage and staying within your budget.
Yeah, it's always a trade-off. I've also heard some plans offer fixed coverage while others offer comprehensive coverage. What's the difference there?
That's a really important distinction. Fixed coverage plans have specific limits for certain services, like a set amount for a doctor's visit or a certain number of days of hospitalization.
Okay, so like a set menu of coverage.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
And what about comprehensive plans?
Comprehensive plans typically offer a larger overall pool of coverage that you can use for a wider range of medical expenses.
Okay, so it's more like a safety net.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It gives you more flexibility and can be helpful in more unpredictable situations.
Gotcha. So fixed is good if you want predictability and know exactly what's covered, and comprehensive is better if you want more flexibility and peace of mind.
Exactly. You've got it.
Okay, so all of this can feel pretty overwhelming. Where do I even start looking for these plans?
Well, the good news is there are tons of resources available online. You can compare plans from different providers side by side and see all the key details in one place.
Okay, so I don't have to go digging through a bunch of different websites.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And many of these websites have helpful tools and filters that can help you narrow down your options based on your specific needs and budget.
That's really helpful. And are there any other pro tips you can give me for choosing the right plan?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to look for is whether a plan offers direct billing with hospitals.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means that the insurance company will directly pay the hospital for your treatment, so you don't have to pay up front and then wait for reimbursement.
Oh, that sounds way less stressful.
It definitely can be, especially if you're dealing with a medical emergency.
So to sum all of this up, Visitors Insurance is basically a financial safety net for international travelers to the USA.
That's a great way to put it.
It's not the same as regular U.S. health insurance, but it can provide crucial coverage for medical expenses, emergency situations, and even some travel inconveniences.
And the most important thing is to carefully compare different plans before you choose one.
Right. Look at the coverage amounts, deductibles, coinsurance networks exclusions, and of course the overall cost.
And don't forget to think about your individual needs and health situation.
Exactly. This is really just a starting point. We encourage you to do your own research and make an informed decision.
Using those online resources we talked about can really help you compare your options and find the best plan for your trip.
And ultimately, having the right visitor's insurance can give you peace of mind so you can focus on enjoying your time in the USA.
Exactly. You can relax and have fun knowing that you're protected if something unexpected happens.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
So there you have it, folks, your crash course in visitor's insurance.
We hope this helps you feel more prepared and confident as you plan your trip to the USA.
And remember, do your research, choose wisely, and then go have an amazing time.
Safe travels.
Safe travels.